live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in this time. Everybody that's here, greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Well, we're just not a good basketball team. We're good, not great, right? There's levels to this, right? And we're just not at that level. We're just not a good basketball team. And it's frustrating, it's irritating, it's what do you do? Right? Like what do you do? What do you say at this point? How do you feel at this point? Right? Like, until the Lakers actually go and get the pieces necessary to turn this around, if you can even turn it around at this point. I mean, this was another huge game for the Lakers, right? You win this, you're in the 5th seed, right? You gain a game, and you still got 3 more times to play them, but hey, you got the first one done and you're headed in the right direction. But now instead, the opposite happens. Now they're the 5th seed. Now they have a full game and a half on you. And now you're a team that's, more likely than not hoping to land the 6th seed. Right? That's what the Lakers are at right now. We're best case scenario right now. We're probably looking at the 6th seed. Obviously, again, get some trades, get a couple things done, kind of, get 3-4 guys or a higher end guy or something. I still think we should get Zach LaVine. I still think Zach LaVine solves a lot of these Laker issues. How much would we go? How many droughts do we go in with a guy like Zach LaVine? Or even like a Nikola Vucevic? I mean, at this point, I'm kind of like, just go get Vu, right? Like, at this point, I'm not even against that, right? Because it's just like, at least it gives you another offensive piece that you can dump the ball down to and go to work. It is so frustrating watching these Lakers play, right? Like, every time they play a good team, it's like, we're probably taking it out. Anytime we play like a half decent team, it's like, is this gonna be a win or a loss, right? The only teams that we seem to beat regularly, and even that you could argue, are like the bad teams, right? And we've lost a couple of those ones. It's just a lack of effort. Dorian Finney-Smith is out there doing everything he can, right? The guy's like trying to rally the troops, pick up the consistency, pick up the effort and stuff like that. But yet, still, it's just the same thing. It's just the same issues we see time and time again. Can't rebound, can't defend. Everyone has a lights out shooting night, no effort, no energy, right? And unless the Lakers get a couple guys, right? Like, again, what did Austin Reaves have this game? Right? And he got hurt. Hopefully it's nothing major, right? Because we do need him, right? I mean, he was 4-6 from the floor. Took 6 attempts. Wasn't aggressive. They hounded him and pressured him. I say it all the time, man. Like, it's the lack of consistency. It's the one game he gives you 38, the next 3 he'll give you 14. It's 6 attempts. I keep talking about it. We need him to be aggressive. We need him to be in attack mode. But the problem is that as soon as he gets some real pressure on him, which they were doing, as soon as they pressure him, he can't. He's not a point guard, right? He can't handle it. Can't handle the ball pressure. It's been an issue all last year. It's an issue this year, right? But everyone keeps talking about Austin Reaves as, the Michael Jordan, right? Look, again, I was one of those guys 2 years ago. But how long until we're just like, all right, like, reality is the reality, right? Like, we got to make some changes. We got to make some strides here. We got to figure something out. And unless the Lakers really, get several guys here, which I don't know if they will, right? Like, and in all honesty, it's probably something where the Lakers are probably going to try to set up this year and then go make that push next year, right? Like, get a Bruce Brown and Green or something, right? Like, Josh Green. And then it's like, okay, we got these 2 guys, Dorian Finney-Smith, Vando comes back. Lakers will probably be better, but not really quite a contender. And then it's like, in the offseason, we'll add 2 more guys, and because we can restructure Dorian Finney-Smith, we can restructure Bruce Brown, we can restructure, LeBron James can take whatever he wants discount-wise and stuff like that. But nonetheless, it's just, I don't know what the Lakers, I don't know. I still think if you get 2 high-end pieces, right, like if they got like a Vucevic and a Brown, I do think that can change the landscape of this team. You'd be surprised what 1 to 2 high impact players can do. But again, it's just, will the Lakers make those moves? Will the Lakers do those things? Right? I hate seeing the Lakers just kind of, get beat down every time they play a half decent team. It's so frustrating watching the Lakers just anytime they play a good team, boom, they just get ran through. They just get blitzed. And it's just like, and it's again, there's levels to this, right? Like Clippers literally controlled this game start to finish. Clippers literally just dominated this game start to finish. Every time it looked like, oh, we were going to go on any type of small run or have any type of like little chance or anything. Nope. Right? Like, oh, you guys were cute. You tried, right? It's just like every time we see the Lakers go up against a good team or play against a team that's like, this is important. You really need to win this game. You really need to show up. You really need to like play put the best version that you can out there and whatnot. And every time it's just disappointment again and again and again and again. Like again, who really showed up? Our highest scorer player was LeBron James with 25 points. He had 25 points, right? I mean, which is great, right? 25, 11, 5, 3 steals, a block. He had 5 turnovers, which I don't like, but we turned the ball over. We didn't rebound, right? It's usually how it goes. What Clippers had, so we had, as far as turnovers go, we finished with 15 turnovers. Not winning very many games with 15 turnovers. And then we finished with 38 rebounds. They finished with 12 turnovers and 47 rebounds. So they out-rebounded us by nearly 10. Nearly 10 rebounds we got smacked. They got 11 offensive rebounds. 11 offensive rebounds. Right? To our 5. Right? We hadn't got like an offensive rebound, second chance point in like the entire first half. I mean, they just controlled this game start to finish. 3-point attempt. They didn't even like jack up a ton of attempts. Like they were just getting whatever they wanted. Literally whatever they wanted. Second leading scorer was Rui Hachimura with 9 of 14 from the floor. 7 rebounds. He rebounded really well this game. 1 assist, 19 points. But where was Anthony Davis? What was Anthony Davis doing? Right? 5 of 14 from the floor. 10 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 3 blocks, 3 turnovers. He had 16 points. He was a minus 18 on the night. Dude, you just got a night off. Like, if you didn't want to show up to the level we needed you to show up, then take the night off. Right? Like, come back the next game. And let's just run with, Jamison, who wants to be here and wants to prove himself, and Jackson Hayes, and see if they can do something. Right? You had some success with that 2 big lineup with Jackson Hayes and Anthony Davis. I'd like to see that a little more. I still would prefer an upgrade over Jackson Hayes. I would have liked to see Jamison and Anthony Davis out there, right? Like, especially Jamison against, like, I thought that this would have been a good matchup to see if Jamison can hold his own, right? Because you're going up against a big physical presence in Ivica Zubac, right? So it would have been nice to see, can Jamison hold his own against that big? Because if you can't hold your own against Zoo, you're getting destroyed by Jokic, right? So it would have been nice to kind of see, like, can he be that physical presence that kind of makes Zoo work? Obviously, Zoo's going to score a bucket here and there, but can he at least be a rim deterrent, slot alongside Anthony Davis? What does that look like? I thought that would have been interesting. Max Christie, I thought, had a solid game, not a great game, but I thought he was solid. Dorian Finney-Smith, like I said, was the one guy trying to keep us alive, right? Dorian Finney-Smith was trying to pick up the pace, trying to pick up the energy. You see him clapping and trying to get everyone engaged, and trying to get everyone like to pick it up, and just it didn't happen. And it's frustrating. I mean, again, they got everything they wanted whenever they wanted it, however they wanted it, and it was embarrassing. This was an absolute mess. We got dominated in every facet of the game. Again, it's the reality, right? This team is not a good team. They're good, not great, right? They're not what we need them to be as far as like being a contender. Like I said, you get a couple pieces, right? A couple trades, high-end trade. You got to get some high-end guys. You just get like, a Cody Martin. Like that alone by himself is not going to be enough to change this team. But, like I said, if you get a Bruce Brown and Nikola Vucevic, or go trade for Zach LaVine, I still think Zach LaVine solves so much of this. At least you're probably in these games. Even if you lose them, at least you're probably in this game. Like, it's so frustrating to see. But anyway, I rambled and ranted enough. Let me jump into all the super chats, all the regular questions. See some super chats came in. I really appreciate that. And then we'll jump into the regular chat. Real quick, take a quick second, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. And let's get into it. So starting us off with the first super chat. Mission coming out to $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Mom and Dad lost the home in Altadena. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Your mom and dad lost their home in Altadena. Man, I'm really, really, really sorry to hear that. Our Lakers losing, stocks are down. China cutting the U.S. What's next, Tyler? Any hope? Dude, I know it's scary times right now, man. Luckily everyone's alive. Everyone's, that's obviously the most important thing. I'm really sorry to hear that about your mom and dad. Seriously, prayers up to you guys. Hopefully that blessing's right around the corner. But as far as like the world right now, it's wild. TikTok, it's like banned for like an hour and it comes back. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then now you're looking and it's just like, hopefully, like the Rams lost today too, another LA team. It's just like, it's frustrating, but hopefully, Lakers pull off some trades by the trade deadline and we can right the ship a little bit, or at least, give us some hope, right? Give us something more. We're like, yes, like here's the beginning. We had so much optimism going into that, Dorian Finney-Smith trade. Now it's like, can we just get that next move? Can we get that next big like swing deal that maybe changes things for us a little bit? It's wild, crazy times, but I appreciate you. Seriously. Thank you for being here. 7 Days Sports coming to hot the $5 super chat. AR is useless against real guards. JJ's coaching like Darvin Ham. No freaking center. AR gets scared every time he faces pressure. Braun needs to go off. Yeah. Look, I mean, Austin Reaves, I've said it before, right? Is good, not great player. When he doesn't have to deal with ball pressure and he doesn't have to deal with teams hounding him, he's fine, right? He can hold his own. He can do a really good job, right? Go get your 30, right? But when a team really pressures him and a team really hounds him and a team really kind of, sticks it to him, all of a sudden you see the changes. You see the things that change and you see how bad things can get. I mean, the guy took 6 field goal attempts, right? Like I talked about this. I say this all the time. We need Austin Reaves to be aggressive. The best version of Austin Reaves is aggressive Austin Reaves, right? If he's going to be our third guy, fine. You need to get the pieces around him. I don't like the idea of him as our third guy, but fine. If that's the route you want to go, one, he needs to stay aggressive. If he's really going to be your third guy, we can't have I'm not saying he has to go drop 38 every night, but I'm saying like we can't have these drastic influxes, right? We can't have him, going off and cooking. And then the next like 3 games, he's like 12 points on 3 of 12 from shooting or only taking 6 attempts or something. It's so frustrating. And the thing is too, like Braun needs to go up, but like he shouldn't have to, right? Like obviously there's games, there's moments, there's stretches, there's things like that where it's like, all right, we really need LeBron to bring us home, right? And that's fine. But on a nightly, regular basis, that should not be a thing. Right? We shouldn't have to be so reliant on LeBron James that like we can't function as a basketball team. It's wild. It's wild. It is so frustrating. Hopefully the Lakers get something done. So fingers crossed, man. Arthur coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Zubac abused us. Why did we not use our bigs? Well, I mean, he did go with 2 bigs at one point. This would have been a nice game to see Jamison. Right? Like, he brought him in because he's 6'11", 270. Let's put that to use. Let's see what he can do with some physicality. Slot him alongside Anthony Davis. Let's see if he can hold his own. It couldn't have gotten much worse than it already was. Right? It's like, so what? Instead of being down 26, we're down 30. Like, it would have been the same thing. Who cares? Right? Like, I just thought that was a great opportunity to really kind of gauge and see, can he hold his own? Can he be physical? Can he apply some pressure to Zubac? Even if he fouls out, who cares? Let him. If he's giving us the energy, the effort, the physicality, right? Giving us some toughness on the interior, then fine, right? Like Jackson Hayes, yeah, Jackson Hayes was great in that stretch, and you had some success with AD and Hayes, but Hayes just doesn't have the physicality. Zoo just backed him down, just bullied him, right? Like you don't like. I would have liked to see Jamison get a slot here and just see like, can he provide the physicality that this team needs? And it's just, I don't know, man. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. It is incredibly frustrating, but anyway, let's get into the regular chat until some more super chats trickle in. Again, I appreciate them. Thank you. Austin Reaves won't cut it if he is not scoring. He's useless. Yeah, I agree. Look, I've said it repeatedly. He has to stay in attack mode. If he's not staying in attack mode, the Lakers are in trouble, right? Like having Austin Reaves just float around all game doesn't give us anything. Yeah, turnovers, 15 turnovers. You're not winning very many games with 15 turnovers. You're just not. 80 taking mid-range shots is an underrated underrated problem for the Lakers. When he's on, it's not, right? Like he has games and stretches where he's just absolute money, right? He has games and stretches where he can absolutely just like light it up. But when he can't find the bottom of the net, that's when it becomes an underrated problem. Defense, I know you're trolling, but yeah, like it was terrible. You're right in this stretch. Time to change our backcourt. Agreed. I mean, look, I still think Austin Reaves should be our sixth man. I do. I think that'd make him more aggressive, more physical. The problem is like Lakers need the scoring, right? Like they struggle to score with LeBron, AD, and Austin Reaves in the game at times. That's why I really like the idea of going and getting a Zach LaVine, bringing him in, slotting him in, and then if you can't turn Austin Reaves into a better fit, or you don't want to turn Austin Reaves a better fit, fine. Then make him the sixth man and go with like LaVine, whatever, Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, and just have the defense, 3-and-D, the scoring, whatever you got to do. So every time you make a Lakers can't blow this video, the Lakers do exactly that. Like, trust me, Lakers aren't bad because of my videos. I've made videos where I've said that, and they've actually won, but it's usually few and far between. Tyler hates Reaves, yeah, apparently. We ain't ready for the Denver's. No, Denver's smacking us. 80 is soft AF. Got another super chat. Goswin coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, buddy. These type of games irritate me because we shoot ourselves in the foot when we need to win against these specific teams. Right there with you. Right, made a video over on AS the Lakers show where I talked about how like this is like this in many ways is a must win, right? Because you win this game, you got the 5 seed at least locked up. You just got to keep the distance from the Clippers, or at least keep pace with the Clippers, win another game or two against the Clippers, and you're good. We're in business, baby. But instead, what do? They get smacked, absolutely just decimated and embarrassed. I mean, literally, it wasn't even close, right? Like, they literally controlled the game start to finish. The closest it was when it was like, what, 12-11 or something like that? And then that was it. It was just like, all right, now we're just going to, we're done playing with you. Time for us to smack you. And it's frustrating because these games are so important. We've seen this the last like 3 years. Like every time the Lakers need a huge game or have a game where it's like this, like you cannot lose this game, what do the Lakers do? They lose every single time. And it's just like the lack of effort and energy. And you're sitting there watching Dorian Finney-Smith, who we just got, trying to rally the troops. Why is the new guy the only guy trying to make second efforts and stuff like that? Why isn't the guys that have been on this team? It's incredible. It is. It's incredibly frustrating. It's like you know what you need to do. You know what you have to do. And yet the Lakers can't seem to do it. It's so frustrating. It's like, it's one thing if you lose the game, right? If it's a hard fought battle and you just lost the game. It's another thing when you have just basically get control, right? When we're supposed to be big brother and we look like little brother just getting dominated. We look like a sophomore team versus a JV or a varsity team, right? We just got absolutely just dominated. Kawhi only played 24 minutes, like so they didn't like it wasn't like some crazy heroic Kawhi game. So where you could be like, well, hey, Kawhi does that. Like, she just literally have no excuse other than like Lakers are terrible. It's so frustrating. It really is. It's so frustrating. But anyway, appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Where was I? There we go. Trades won't fix this team if AD won't play like an MVP. He did start. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, Anthony Davis and LeBron James, but also you got to keep in mind, like everything ran through AD to start the season. We haven't done that the way that we did previously, right? Like the first 20 games of the season, literally everything ran through Anthony Davis. Everything, right? Like there were very few possessions where he didn't touch the basketball. And you go from that to very few possessions where he touches the basketball, right? It's just got to feed the beast. If he's having a bad games happen, off games happen, but I think you need to get back to playing with, through Anthony Davis. It's where we had the most success. And we've kind of went away from that. Part of that was, D'Lo and Reaves got hurt. So LeBron had to be on ball more and kind of had to operate more. Okay. Right. But now that's done. Right. So get back to Anthony Davis. We need Levine and Valanciunas. Look, I'm all for it. Levine, Day'Ron, Levine, Kessler in a perfect world. Whatever you got to do. I really do think you need Levine. We need to rebuild. No trade will save us. Don't be surprised. Right? I know it looks bleak right now, but a lot can change if you get the right guys. You have to get the right guys, though. Why do we go down big and then try to come back late? Because teams just coast, right? Teams are all right, we already won. Game's over. Let's just chill. Right, it's just okay. Lakers are starting to make a little comeback. Let's just stop this real quick, and then it's just every time. Speechless. I feel you. Rui is so bad. My guy, he doesn't deserve starting spot. Dorian Finney-Smith. I think Dorian Finney-Smith should start too. I think Rui should be coming off the bench. Allow him to be more of an offensive weapon. Bro, I'm begging on my knees for a trade. Yeah, seriously. Hopefully that happens soon. I don't want to hear anything about LeBron missing layups, man. I was on one leg. 80 is the one I need to hear slander for. Well, yeah, talk about 80 and how bad he was this game. Like I said, if he didn't want to show up today, you got 3 days off, right? If you weren't ready to play, don't play. This dude is not serious about anything. Take games off, be even worse yet. 80 is not a center no matter how much we want to make him one. Problem is, that's probably who our center is going to be regardless. Bro, this team is a joke. Yeah. JJ actually doesn't know what player is changing. Is why doesn't he know how to make better lineups? What lineups is he supposed to make? This team isn't good, right? It's easy to say JJ can't make lineups, but who is he supposed to go to? What is the lineup supposed to be? When nobody shows up. LeBron James had 25 points and no one else showed up. Who is he supposed to go to? I get frustration. And look, there have been times I've even pointed out JJ's lineup and rotation at times has been bad. Or why are you bringing this guy in and not this guy? Right? I talked about it earlier. Jamison, this was a great game to see Jamison. Right? See what he can do. Can he hold his own against a physical matchup? Right? Again, JJ's trying to grasp for straws because no one wants to play basketball. Right? What lineup is he supposed to use? It's not like he has this deep bench. We're the worst bench in the NBA. So who is he supposed to go to? Right? He's looking at the bench and he's okay, none of these guys can score, none of these guys can defend, none of these guys can do anything. What rotation is he supposed to have? Right? Who is he supposed to have? That's the problem. Right? It's easy to say JJ, JJ's rotations need to be better. I'd love to hear it because I'm watching these rotations and it's not the rotations, it's the players. The players just aren't good, right? They're just not good. We just don't have that top 7-8 guys that you can count on a nightly basis, right? You have 3 or 4 guys on any given night. Let's see. Why do you guys not play Shake Milton? Probably defense purposes. Gabe Vincent's actually been solid the last few games. I haven't mind them playing Gabe Vincent, but also could be just try to advertise. That could even be a reason why Rui's starting is because it's very possible Rob Pelinka is dude, I need you to keep them in the starting unit because I'm trying to work on trades. That happens all the time. Tyler 80's motor is extremely fraudulent. Y'all have mad at LeBron being slow. We're talking about somebody in their literal prime of their life. Yep. His motor is an issue at times. Lakers could easily be the 11 seed. in a couple weeks. Yeah, 100%. They keep blowing it. They keep botching what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, that to this day, Magic just like gave him away, and then we just like let Muscala go. Like we didn't even like keep him around. Literally, we just gave Zubac to the Clippers for free. Reaves should have been traded for DeJounte Murray last year. Look, I said the same thing. I was preaching for it. Unfortunately, I don't have ties to the Lakers. I wish I could just call Rob and be like, Rob, this is what you need to do, my guy. Lakers will not go anywhere under JJ's management. Zero knowledge on defense. Imagine Rui 33 minutes, Dorian Finney-Smith 21 minutes. What the hell is in his brain? Again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't. And two, even Dorian Finney-Smith, like Dorian Finney-Smith by himself isn't fixing this, right? Like you need like Jared Vanderbilt back. You need guys like that. You just don't have the defensive players, right? It's hard to say like JJ has zero knowledge on defense when, I mean, he's not the one that's designing the defense. We have defensive coaches, right? That's why we brought the coaches in. We have coaches that have great defensive schemes everywhere else, but they've also had the defensive pieces, right? It's hard when Rui Hachimura is a defensive liability, Austin Reaves is a defensive liability, and they're two of your top 5 players, right? Like, and then LeBron James, who has, to his credit, has been much better recently, but even he still takes defensive plays off and, possessions off. Gabe Vincent tries, but he's too small, right? Like, again, like, what is he supposed to do defensively? Like, what type of defensive schemes are you supposed to run? He can't magically make Rui an athletic defensive monster. He can't magically make, Austin Reaves defend better. Like, it's just, they don't have the tools to do so, right? So you need to get those things. Playing team, I still think they're a playoff team, but barely. Definitely don't need any trades. We look solid out there tonight. Yeah, in fact. Let's see. Reaves is not more talented than Kevin Porter Jr. and somehow got the keys to the most storied franchise in the league. And I like AR. Yeah. Kevin Porter Jr. was a 25-5 guy. That dude like threw away the bag. That guy would have been a $30 million a year guy had he not just thrown himself away, making poor decisions. Let's see. Tyler, Tyler, you are right. Rob should trade Rui and AR, even though the number one option didn't show up, and the guys you want to trade were actually more efficient and should have taken AD shots. Well, why didn't your guy Austin Reaves? Where was your guy Austin Reaves? Right? Let me hear you give an honest evaluation of Austin Reaves, and then we'll talk. Otherwise, I don't need to hear the nonsense. I already talked about Anthony Davis. Talked about how poorly he is. Right? Isn't the whole point of help and playing 5-on-5 for when your guys have bad nights? Other guys can pick it up. Isn't that the point, right? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Isn't Austin Reaves like, isn't this the moment that your God is supposed to save the Lakers? Well, where was he? Again, until you can be honest and like give fair criticism, then you're just trolling. This is why I take all our wins with a grain of salt. We lose games to everyone that's good or average. We barely beat bad teams yet. You're not wrong. Not wrong. AD is not a first or second option on a playoff team. Dude is more of cleanup stud. I disagree on that. I mean, first option, yes, I agree that there are genuine questions about hey baby, get down. There are genuine questions about Austin Reaves or Anthony Davis being the first option. There are genuine questions. Second option, without a doubt, he could be the second. I mean, again, we won a championship with him as the second option, but it's because we had LeBron at the time where he was the first option, right? But now you don't have that. So it's tough now, right? That's the problem. So, hey, come on, go. Thank you, baby. Let's see. AR is not more talented than Pritchard, yet he somehow got the keys to the class franchise. JJ called him the engine, shaking my head. I think he's better than Pritchard, but he's not a star. He's not like a superstar or anything like that. Trade Reaves, Hachimura, Dalton, Gabe, Hayes, Hood Shafino for Zach LaVine and Io Sumo. You keep both first round picks and ship Christian Wood and 2 firsts for Kessler. Signed Dorian. I am not against that. I would do that in a heartbeat. Lineup of Dosumu, Levine, Finney Smith, Braun, and AD would be elite. Agreed. I am right there with you. I would love that starting five. Let's see. Those jerseys are cursed. Yeah, Lakers are what, 1-8? 1-8 against that? Like, wearing those jerseys? Trade AD or LeBron to Golden State? Nah, that's not gonna happen. We gotta start calling a spade a spade. This guy has been given the keys to the Lakers, but is actually a sixth man in the league. Look, you're preaching to the choir, my guy. Tyler, we must move Austin to the 2 and get Bruce Brown or Io to be our point guard. I am with you. We need some athleticism, defense, point of attack, something like that. You got to get a real guard out there, somebody that can properly initiate, handle the ball pressure, something. Tuesday decides the fate of the season. Literally, we play the Wizards, you lose. Don't even worry about a trade. Just consider blowing it up at that point. Yeah, and they're on like a 9-game losing streak. But of course, that game's probably going to be tight. That game's probably going to be real close. An 8 to 9 man rotation of Dosunmu, Levine, Norton Finney Smith, LeBron, Davis, Vanderbilt, Christie, Kessler, Dennis Smith Jr. Would be super athletic, elite on defense, tons of offense, firepower, length. Yes, I am right there with you. Austin Reaves dropped 38 last game, so we must call him the GOAT for the rest of the time. Yeah, exactly. 1 good game ignores 4 bad. Let's see. Why do every team get hyped to play our Lakers? Because exactly that. They're the Lakers, right? Anytime you can play against Lakers, it's just you're gonna get more national television, you're gonna get more national attention, right? You have a great game against the Lakers, it's talked about more, right? Like all you're gonna hear is how why am I blanking on his name? Norman Powell. There we go. Norman Powell torched us and blah blah. Cam Johnson just got traded to the Thunder. Is that true? I mean, I said that he would be. I figured he would be. Let me think. I don't see anything about that. I don't think that's true. Are you saying Cam? Yeah, you said he just got traded. Did you just get Sintel? Is that what just happened? You just got Sintel? Because yeah, I don't see anything about that anywhere. So yeah, but to be honest, like I think that that's coming at some point. Again, I could be wrong, but I do. I think if the Thunder want Cam Johnson, they'll get Cam Johnson. Let's see. Lakers always get beat down by the Clippers. Not last year. Last year the Lakers owned that matchup, but this year, I'm the point where I don't even watch when we play above 500 teams. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I don't blame you. 2 big lineups worked well. I just need a different big alongside AD. Yeah, I agree. I think if you can get a better big, but that's why I said, like, why not try Jamison? He's bigger, he's stronger, he's physical, he's known as a great rebounder, he's a better shot blocker than Jackson Hayes, right? Like, why not put those two and just see? Couldn't have been worse than what you got. Right? Like, so instead of being down 26, you would have been down 30. Like, okay, game's over either way. But maybe you would have had just as much, if not more success, but you would have had more physicality. Right? Maybe you could have done a little bit more. Right? Might have been able to make some more noise. But nonetheless, Cosman coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. You want AD at center for 40 minutes. We need a center in playoffs. Problem is that I just don't think the Lakers are going to do that. Right? Like, and it's not because of AD, it's because of LeBron. Like, AD has made it about as clear and public as possible that he wants to play the power forward. Not full-time, like he said. Like, I'll play the center. I just don't want to do it 40 minutes a game. However, that's probably what's going to happen, right? Maybe if you do get a center like a Daron or something like that, maybe you'll see some minutes where, AD, maybe instead of 40 minutes, he plays 30 minutes. But he's going to play a majority at the center spot regardless. And it's not because of him. It's because of LeBron. Right, LeBron at this stage of his career has to operate at the 4, right? So your other alternative, like you have 2 options: either A, you're wearing LeBron down, or B, you got to have Anthony Davis on the strong side. But then now you don't have that help defense that you want from Anthony Davis. So either way, it could be bad. And that's where the issue lies. Like, unless you can get a legit two-way set, like the only like something that I've talked about that I'd like to, like, say you got a Vucevic, right? I know he's not like great defensively, but what other options are there really, right? Like, let's say you get a Vucevic, right? Like, so what you could do is you could do something where, like, hey, LeBron, the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes, I just need you to lock in, right? I just need you to like exert that energy, right? And then you just like the rest of the game, you just map it out to where, you have like Vu and AD, or and then Vu and then LeBron, and then AD and LeBron, but LeBron's still playing like, whatever, 25 of his 35 minutes at the 4, and then like 10 minutes at the 3, and then you just have like, a Dorian Finney-Smith out there with a, Austin Reaves or something, or you got to kind of try to figure that out. Let's see. Malcolm coming in hot with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Great daily content. It's time to give JJ the same vitriol that we gave Darvin Ham. Chess is a different game when the clock is in. So a couple things. First off, I really appreciate that. Secondly, look, the differences between JJ and look, I defended Darvin Ham a lot last season, probably more than I should have, and at times to my detriment. JJ Redick has been the better coach, right? The team itself has not been good this year. They've been worse this year than they were last year. Austin Reaves has had his stretches, right? But also you got to keep in mind, D'Lo was the third option last year. Third option D'Lo last year was better than third option Reaves this year. He assists, shooting the lights out, all of that. Like, the impact completely changed and swung games, all that. He was slightly better defensively than Austin Reaves was this year, right? Like, also you had guys like Jared Vanderbilt for spots, right? Like, you had things, and the way that Darvin Ham underutilized players hurt, right? Like Christian Wood when he played, right? Like Rui Hachimura kind of didn't have a choice, but at the time when we didn't have a 4, or like a Dorian Finney-Smith, like guys, or not Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, there we go. Spencer Dinwiddie, right? Like, he's playing the 3. But then the one game where he finally got to play the point, he goes and drops 26 and 9. When the whole season we desperately needed a backup point guard. And instead of going like, the only game we won without D'Angelo Russell was the game in which Spencer Dinwiddie played the point. Instead of going like, I should put him as the point guard, he goes, let me put him back to the 3. I mean, even Spencer Dinwiddie was like, dude, like I'm trying to like learn a new position. I'm trying to do all this stuff. Has JJ been perfect? No. Does he have flaws? Yes. Right? Like, starting lineups, I think, need to change. I think you need Dorian Finney-Smith. Again, part of that could be Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka might be like, hey, dude, I need you to keep these guys in the starting unit for trade purposes, stuff like that. JJ Redick has been better with offensive schemes. Defensively, they're just as bad. But again, you just don't have the defensive pieces, right? Like, also, look at it like this. We have the same team as last year, right? Guys have underperformed. We've had circumstances, right? All of that. But this team is actually better overall, like record-wise, stuff like that, than they were last year. So there has been growth through JJ Redick. But again, like I defended Darvin Ham last year, I don't care how good or bad a coach is. It's up to the players, right? Like, Darvin Ham was a bad coach, but he also did some really good things out there. But the players just didn't show up, right? Darvin Ham could have been Pat. You could have Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, and Eric Spoelstra do the fusion dance and turn into one super coach. If the players don't show up, it means nothing. Players have to show up. Players have to play with the effort. They have to play with the energy. They have to do that. How did Darvin Ham have success throughout the playoffs and the play-in? He just gave the ball to LeBron and AD and said, you guys go to work. And everything ran through LeBron and AD, and then they just ran the sets. There was no adjustments. There were no changes. There was none of that, right? At least you see that stuff with JJ Redick. He just doesn't have the personnel, which is the same thing Darvin Ham didn't have, right? So that's the difference. Let's see. Got a couple more super chats. Legend coming out the final super chat. Which, oh, by the way, again, thank you so much, super chat. Mistake was prioritizing LeBron over AD. Gave AD no C in 21. Forced him to be the C, but gave Braun a point guard, and it was no need. And play calling sucks. JJ needs an offensive coordinator. I mean, even with an offensive coordinator, like the play designs aren't bad. The guys just can't score. I mean, we generate wide open looks better than most teams, if not, outside of like 3 or 4 teams in the league, right? As far as like quality shot attempts, like we're good. We're actually very good, right? Like problem is guys can't hit shots, right? Like Austin Reaves is hot and cold. One game he's 2 of 10. The next game he's, 4 of 7, right? Like Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, Anthony Davis taking 3, like all these guys, like Rui Hachimura, one game he'll be 4 of 7. Next game he's 1 of 7. Like it's just, again, we're creating these advantages on the offensive side of things. Guys just can't create off of those advantages. And you don't have anybody that you can count on to just go get you a bucket outside of LeBron and AD. Reaves can do it sometimes, but he also becomes passive too much at times, right? And then when teams really pressure and hound him, at times he can't fight through it, which is why I've said, like, I want like a Zach LaVine or something, because then you can give him the ball and he can just go create. He can shoot over the top. He'd be our best natural scorer. He's one of the few guys that can give you the over-the-top shooting. LeBron doesn't, like, he can at times, but he's not a great over-the-top shooter. Anthony Davis can at times, but, he can be a bad over-the-top shooter. It's things like that. So it's frustrating. But, I mean, again, it's just you don't have the personnel, right? Like, how many guys do you look at and go, man, that guy can get you buckets? Like, you just don't have that. Only issue with JJ is schematics, which is fixable. But again, like, my problem is you don't have the personnel. Like, even the defensive sense, right? Like, I get asked a lot, like, why do the Lakers always switch everything? Because they don't have a choice, right? Like what, we don't have a bunch of guys like Christie, as great as he is. And look, I hyped up Christie more than anybody, but Christie still doesn't navigate screens well. He gets caught up in traffic at times, right? Like his positioning will be off at times. He's young, he's good, he'll get there, but he's not there yet, right? Like when Jared Vanderbilt gets back, I think you'll see a lot less defensive switching. And I think also offensively, you're going to see a lot more. I think you'll see different schemes because you'll have the athleticism. You'll be able to push the pace. You'll be able to do some different things. Right? Obviously, Jared Vanderbilt isn't this like lethal scorer or anything like that. But they don't have the personnel, right? Like if you get a guy like a Zach LaVine, sticking with Zach LaVine, right? I know people every time I talk about Zach LaVine don't like it, but he'd fix and save a lot of the Lakers' issues. Right. But if you could get a guy like a Zach LaVine, you can run so many different offensive schemes. You can operate in so many different ways, right? Because he's just much more efficient as a scorer. He can score in more ways. He gives you athleticism, right? Like you can't create these like burst plays because you don't have the athletes to do so, right? But that's the problem. It's the personnel, right? Like JJ's limited in what he can do. Right? Like, what does he look like with a more athletic team? I made a video talking about like going and getting youth and athleticism. I think this team would be night and day different, right? Like if you got just pure athleticism, right? The Lakers lack a lot of those things. Logan coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Boucher is realistic. Don't like center options. There's not really a bunch of great center options. Honestly, for Boucher, me personally, I'd rather just stick with because you'd have to probably give up a second. I just don't think he's changes anything. I'd rather just stick with what you got. He can stretch the floor a little bit, but he's basically giving you the same thing Jackson Hayes and Christian Koloko give you. I'd rather, again, this is just me personally, I'd rather just like either stay the course at the center position give Jamison, who's just bigger and more physical, a try, and have Jackson Hayes, and now you have these two different looks. Or you got to go get a real center, right? You got to get somebody like a Jonas Valanciunas, whatever, right? Like Day'Ron Sharp. I'm not like super high on all the center options. I think, like at this point, I think if you're going to get a center, you might as well just go get Nikola Vucevic, right? Because at least defensively he's not great, but rebounding and scoring the basketball, which the Lakers could use both of them, I think would help. And you got to kind of figure it out from there. But it's frustrating. Goswin. LeBron at the 4 only helps Braun. Doesn't help the rest. I agree 100%. But you also got to keep in mind, yes and no, because LeBron's health and stamina helps the rest of the team, right? Like if LeBron gets worn down or is on one leg come playoff time, it doesn't matter who we have. We're not winning anything, right? Like your best bet is to hopefully squeeze into the playoffs, and then you have a fully healthy, ready to go LeBron. Right? Like, so LeBron, like, yes, you're right. Like, the 4 is to help LeBron, and it only really helps LeBron. But at the same time, the healthier LeBron is, the better that this team, like, the best version this team will be. Right? Like, that's my thing. Right? So, again, I'd prefer to go to keep him at the 4 if that's the case. But anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone for super chats. Let's get back into the regular chat. We just need to rebuild at this point. I'm so tired of this roster. We need a fresh new start with JJ as our coach for now and the future. I still think you get a couple quality pieces. You're there. I just think you need to get those pieces. Like you get a healthy Vando and you get like 2 quality, like higher end pieces, right? Or like one high tier piece and then like like a lower tier piece. I think you're there. I do. I think you're there, or at least close. I agree. We can't rely on a 40-year-old. It's unfair to him and his legacy. Unfortunately, he's paid as such, so it's got to go out there and do it. This is why you need that center from Chicago, Levine. Yeah, Vu or Davis. AR turnovers hurt, but was definitely not the main problem tonight. It wasn't the main problem tonight, but he wasn't. He just, again, it's just the lack. Again, inconsistencies. That's my problem. Right? Like we didn't lose this game because of Austin Reaves. We lost this game for a number of reasons, but Austin Reaves didn't help either. But AD fadeaways suck and not aggressive at all. Braun missed so many gimmies. Rui looked lost on defense. Many contributors to this loss. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't just like, this wasn't like Austin Reaves was bad and we lost. This was, Austin Reaves wasn't great and you had 15 other things. At this point, it's just, are we in no man's land if AR and Rui are still part of this team at the deadline yet? I don't think they trade Austin Reaves, but Rui, they got to trade. Let's see. LeBron had a bad shooting night and still was the best player on the floor stat-wise. AD isn't capable of being the number 1 option. Agree. Let's see. Need a big. We need to trade Reaves, Rui, Gabe, and Hayes. I'm not against it at all. That Nets team the other night was one of the worst teams I've ever seen assembled together on an NBA floor. Reaves dropped 38, and somehow sins against playoff level teams all year are forgotten. Yep. Everyone up to trade except Ron, AD, and Reaves. I don't care. That's probably what the Lakers are going to do. Let's see. Clippers are not great, and Lakers just got blown out by them. Therefore, Lakers are not even good. I mean, Clippers have a very good record. Have beaten very good teams without Kawhi all season, and they had Kawhi this game. I mean, I don't necessarily think that they're winning a championship, but I don't think, like, you're making it sound like they're just like this pedestrian team. They're not a pedestrian team. They're better than the Lakers, that's for sure. AD is not the guy you can build a team around. He surely hasn't been. Is this team fixable? Yeah, of course. Everything's fixable. It's just, can the Lakers do it, and will the Lakers do it? That's the problem. Is that like, again, don't underestimate the value of like two high end guys, right? Like I said, you get a Vucevic and a Bruce Brown, you fix like most, if not all, of your issues, right? Rebounding, defense, perimeter help, chase, 50-50 balls, all those things. Lonzo or Bruce Brown and Robert Williams or a different big will do wonders for this team. Yeah. Face, I can't bring your comment up because you use a naughty word by YouTube standards, but I agree, not having a dynamic guard is a real problem. It is a real problem. I mean, this is a guards league. Every time Clippers, of course, you can always count on the Clippers to play like it's Game 7. What's going on, Chris? Appreciate you. Bro, we're cooked. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Let's see. That was terrible. It's still Lake show or no show. I'll make them trades ASAP. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that's my point too. You gotta. I mean, he's being paid as such. You gotta rely on him. I like him, but let's keep it a hundo. Reaves is essentially Ty Jerome with confidence, and LeBron sell, but somehow he got the keys to Lake show. Let's see. We'll get the 6 feet. We'll get the 5th seed back. In fact, we need Levine yet. Lost to the Eagles by throwing the ball away too. Yeah, I thought that they were going to win that. That was something important, wasn't it? Rui Hachimura plays far too many minutes. He gets scored on every time. At least LeBron actually tries. Reaves, Hayes, Rui are automatic buckets for other teams. Yes. The defensive breakdowns are an issue. I wouldn't want a false insecurity. Yeah, I mean, that's always the concern, right? Like, you start winning games that you're probably not supposed to. Yeah, Hayes is a third stream. Why would you not go for Day'Ron, bro? Yeah, I'm not against Day'Ron at all. Yeah, I do think you have to trade Rui. When Vando comes back, play Braun at the 1, AR at the 2, Dorian Finney-Smith at the 3, Vando at the 4, AD at the 5. I mean, you're probably playing Vando at the 2 because, I mean, he's going to defend out on the perimeter anyway. Rui is not a starter. Neither is Reaves. AD makes me embarrassed to be a Laker fan yet. Tyler, would you trade Reaves for Curry? Talk about Steph Curry in a heartbeat. Yeah, 100%. Rui is redundant with Dorian Finney-Smith. Agreed. Let's see. Max definitely has to be on the bench. Yeah, look, Max has been good, right? He's been very good. But he's best if you have him in your backup role. Like, him as your starting 2 is probably not best for this Lakers team. All right. We're much worse than we were. We're much worse than last year, even though we didn't change much with this roster. Yeah, it's just, again, you just don't have the personnel. Teams just know how to exploit the Lakers more. Let's see. Rob or JJ need to give me their jobs or have Tyler be the assistant coach because obviously he sees everything like I see it. I'm with it. Sign me up. Sorry, Sean wants to meet. I disagree. I genuinely disagree. I don't think JJ's a trash coach. I think JJ's a good coach. Does he make mistakes? Absolutely. But again, like, what's the personnel? Like, you keep talking about like the defensive, like, you need a defensive coordinator and stuff like that. Like, who can fix this defensively, right? Like, again, like, I would love to hear how you fix this with the current guys you have, right? Vando's not here right now, right? And even if he does get back, he might not be 100%. As currently constructed with this roster, how do you fix this defense? We don't have the personnel to do so. What are you going to do? You can play Gabe Vincent, Austin Reaves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis 48 minutes a game, and you'd still wouldn't you'd be good, but you wouldn't be great. You're still again, you don't have the personnel. You don't have all those things. I mean, how many coaches? We've gone through 4 coaches in the last 5 years. How many? At what point do you go? It's the roster. It's not the coaches. How many times do we blame the coach? Right? Again, I defended Darvin Ham even last year. Right? We are worse than last year with the same team. 80 taking jump shots instead of being down low for 5 to 6 games. Yeah. Has to be the worst defensive center in the league, right? Yeah, he's up there. he's just undisciplined. It's the problem. He's just I like him in small doses. All right, let's do a handful of more questions, then I'm gonna get on out of here. So I can go make some videos and then get some stuff up for tomorrow for all you guys. So let's see. Davis is looking horrible. They're killing LeBron's motivation. Dorian isn't looking like a defender. I disagree. Dorian Finney-Smith's been great. We need a Miles Turner or LaMelo Ball. Fortunately, neither of them are available. Tyler, I don't know if the Lakers will ever be good again this season. It's just another fail to add to the list. We need to somehow clear out everyone in the front office because I miss when the Lakers were fun. I mean, I wouldn't say never. Right? Ever. I don't think we'll never be good again. A lot could change. But yeah, right now it's definitely frustrating. It definitely looks bleak. Austin Reaves is in a point guard. Agreed. He is not. Been unwatchable since 2020. You're not wrong. I agree. Reaves should come off the bench. JJ should, but again, the problem is we don't know what the deal is, right? If the Lakers are trying to work on a trade for Rui Hachimura, last thing you want to do is bench him and play him 20 minutes a game. You want to play him 35 minutes and show that no, he's our guy, right? As soon as you bench him and now he's playing 20 minutes a game and you're playing him like you should, right? If come the trade deadline, everything's the same and Dorian Finney-Smith isn't starting, then yes, we'll have a honest talk about that. But for right now, again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know if, Rob Pelinka's hey, I'm trying to trade these guys. I need you to play them, right? Also, a good inclination, one last little point, a good kind of inclination about that is every time the Lakers went on a losing streak this year, JJ's changed the starting lineup, except for recently. This is the first time he hasn't changed the starting lineup, and it was recent. Is that because he just doesn't want to change the starting lineup anymore? Or is it because the Lakers are trying to work on trades? And last thing you want to do is start benching the guys that you're trying to trade. You're not wrong. Let's see. All right, let's do a few more. Hey, at least Vandal's coming back soon. Yeah, seriously. Where's the noise for Dorian Finney-Smith? You guys love the trade. Dorian Finney-Smith's been fantastic. Dorian Finney-Smith has been the last of our problems. Let's see. You prefer Kuz? You're gonna be very upset if you had Kuz over that. Tyler, can we trade for Levine without touching Reaves, 80, Braun, and Vando? Technically, yes, I believe so. Because you could do Rui, trying to do the math. So Rui, Gabe Vincent gets you to $28 million. You'd have to trade Max Christie at that point. So that is another 8. So what is that? 28. That's $36 million. And then you'd have to throw in like what Jalen and Trufino get you to 39, Jackson Hayes. It'd be just shy. You'd probably have to trade Connect too. But yeah, technically, yes, you can get there without trading those guys. Reaves can't be point guard. Agreed. Agreed. Let's see. We need Gafford. Problem is, the only way we would get Gafford is like part of a 3-team. The Dallas Mavericks, they're not going to trade Daniel Gafford to us. They're only willing to trade him for a specific player, and Lakers just don't have that player. Yeah, Dallas isn't giving us him. They want a defensive 3-and-D wing. That's what they want to trade him for. Lakers don't have that. Let's see. We need a proper point guard, agreed. Or at least somebody that can initiate better. Thank you so much, Emily. I appreciate you. Yes, take a quick second. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. All right, let's do like 2 more here, and then we get on out of here. Let's see. It's funny seeing people saying cope for Dorian Finney-Smith, just getting back and playing good D. But if D'Lo scored 0 points and had 10 assists, get flamed. Yeah, but the difference is D'Lo doesn't play defense, right? Like the problem was like D'Lo was unplayable when he wasn't scoring. Dorian Finney-Smith, at least when he's not scoring, he's giving you defense. At least he's able to stop. I mean, he got a rip steal, went the other way. Zach LaVine is not going to move the needle unless you get a damn center. I couldn't disagree more. I'm not saying we don't need a center, but Zach LaVine, just adding Zach LaVine, Lakers win probably at a bare minimum half the games that they've lost so far. And you're in these games much more. You don't have as many scoring droughts. You don't have as many issues, right? Like, yeah, Vaka Zubat is still going to do his thing, but you're not worried about that. Like Vaka Zubat isn't beating you by himself. But you needed the off. Like we went on droughts where we couldn't score. Like literally couldn't score. Like, let's see. Let's do one more. We need a center like Dwight to move the needle. Let's see. Boucher, I can play center minutes too. You definitely can. Like I said, I wouldn't hate it for like low end stuff, but you need to get higher in. You need to get some higher end players than that. Like if you're getting them like add-ons, then fine. But if he's like the center you're looking to like upgrade, I'd rather just stick with what we got. I don't want to give up assets for that when we can just go get some of these other guys. Still need someone, Zach LaVine, someone else that can score. Things not going well. Agreed. At this point, you got to package the players who aren't making the roster. Agreed. But still, LaVine, Ayo, and Dayron, I am with it. Ryan over here trolling. If we had 7 first-round picks. All right, let's see. The Lakers are winning the next game, hopefully. Fingers crossed. With this team, you never really know, for being honest. But anyway, I'm going to skate on out of here. Go get some videos done, get some things up. A lot of stuff I want to talk about. So we're going to talk about some stuff for sure. But I appreciate you guys. Seriously, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Everyone that gave me super chats, seriously, thank you so much. I really do appreciate super chats. Everyone that hung out, please take a quick second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on your way out. You guys are beautiful. I appreciate you. Hopefully we get the next game. Fingers crossed. See you in the next one.